Hello, my name's Marsh and I want to share something very special with you. I want to speak to you about my latest book, The Inconvenient Truth About Business Success. But before I do talk to you about this and the benefits of the information that I've put in here and how I'd like you to have a copy for free, I want to talk to you about the genesis of why it was born, why I actually wrote it. See, I'm guessing you're a business owner. Maybe you've got a small or medium-sized business and you're wanting to improve the results that you want to get in that organisation. Well, I too am a business owner and I've been in business for a very long time. But for 17 years I struggled to get ahead. In fact, I was lucky to make $50,000 gross as an electrical contractor. In fact, I was reminiscing the other day about my life back then and looking at some of the old photos, for example, here's my fridge and there was nothing left in it. Believe me, it was a struggle from week to week for me to keep myself even fed. And then the mansion I lived in, check this out. This was me living in Binya Street in Pendle Hill many years ago. No, not that mansion at the front. The little chook shed towards the back. That is the place that I lived. In fact, I shared it with two other people for many years, just trying to make ends meet. Just to give you a bit of an idea, and here's my amazing contractor van. That brings a smile to my face. The amount of times I got pulled over by police because of smoke pouring out of the back of that vehicle because it wasn't running on all four cylinders. It just was quite interesting. I used to park it down the road because there used to be a massive oil leak in front of whoever I parked the car in front of their property. But speaking to that, the reason why I share that with you is because I struggled for so many years trying to get ahead because I wanted to really provide the lifestyle for my family. Just the things that just about every person wants to provide for their family. Send your children to the right schools and have a nice car to be able to drive and live in a beautiful home that you can call your own. Nothing spectacularly fancy, just pretty much what any normal individual probably would aspire to. But for 17 years, I didn't know how to crack that code. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I thought it must be because of your connections, and I thought it must be because of people you knew, and this was my lot in life. I refer to it as a story. This is the story. I figured, well, I've tried my best. I guess I've got to get used to it. I don't deserve any better than this. How wrong I was, ladies and gentlemen. See, so many of us, in fact, all of us create a story. Now, whether it's a success story or a mediocre story or a failure story, we build these stories up in our minds because of the surroundings that we are in, because of the people that we associate with, because of the environments that we are in. And what I want to speak to you about, and the reason why I created this book, is I want to help you create a new story. See, you may be looking for the latest, greatest tactic or trick to help you succeed in business. I'm here to tell you that even though there are many in here, things like how you can get an instant 300 to 500% improvement in the leads that you are generating in your business with no extra effort or expense, or things like how you can build a top gun team to be able to give them tasks to do and then have them carried out the way you expect them to be. You're going to get all of that from here, but more than that, you're going to understand a different way of thinking. You're going to learn how to become more street smart in business rather than sheep smart. And ladies and gentlemen, once you actually become street smart in business and start applying the principles of success to your organization, then the world just changes. Within, looking back on it, when I did start learning these principles, within a year I was doing $1 million in turnover. And remember, I was only doing 50,000 before that. And then that kept growing. Within 3 years, the life that I had, this is the sort of vehicles that I was driving and the home that I lived in, and the transformation just 3 years later by understanding a different way of doing business. And then now, I'm speaking to you from my home. I'm lucky enough to live in the home that I desired and go where I want pretty much and do what I want because I've created a business and not a job, because I get to have and enjoy life on my terms. And I'm telling you now, the story that you have in your mind, whatever it is, it can change to become the one that you want to have. So if you want to have the home of your dreams, well, you can have it. If you want to have a business that largely runs without you, you can do it. If you want to go on holidays wherever you want to go, you can get it. However, you have to start looking at some inconvenient truths and then applying them into your life and into your business. Now, if any of that appeals to you and you do want to start to get dramatic improvements, and I'm not talking just small improvements, I'm talking probably more money in a month than you've normally generated all year, well, then get a copy of my book. You know, I want you to have it if you're a serious entrepreneur, and you're going to start to learn those principles that I applied, and there's every chance that you're going to start to get the results that I get. And because success models success, and when you see what someone that's successful is doing and you do the same thing, obviously you start to get the same results, which is exactly what I did many, many years ago. But I do want to see you get the benefit from this and shortcut your journey so you don't have to wait 17 years to start to enjoy the life that you want. Just on a side note, I want you to have a listen to James and Alex and listen to their journey, how within a very short period of time they went from being a struggling horse importer and distributor to being one of the fastest growing horse float distributors and sales organisations in Australia. How? Well, because again, they applied the Inconvenient principles that I'm sharing here, and when they did, they started getting more money in a month than they used to get all year. No exaggeration, and they're not the only ones. There's many other, if you have a look on our YouTube channel, you see many, many examples of the same thing.
We had quite a bit of beginner's luck in the beginning, I think, and it was probably because Alex is so well connected in the horse world with all sorts of different dressage divas, and so they saw her beautiful new float and how many great things it was doing for her horse, which was a really bad traveller up until that time. So we got a lot of sales from those people who are immediate family and friends and referrals and recommendations. But after a period of probably around about 6 months, that flattened out substantially. And
I think at that point, that was the tipping point that really resonated, that we needed to get into this thing and get the shock and awe done. So about at the same time that we got our first print run of the shock and awe, our website became live as well. Almost overnight I saw a massive increase in the number of phone calls I was receiving, emails I was receiving, and because we have so many videos on our website and we've got the downloadable version of the shock and awe plus the hard copy, when people were calling me, they were speaking to me as though they already knew me, and so I'd already online or had already developed a huge amount of trust. So our sales initially spiked quite significantly because I think we dealt with that trust issue, which was the big elephant in the room with imported floats that we were having a problem with. So middle of last year we had sold maybe 10 floats in 6 months, but July the shock and awe became live. We had hard copies of that. Our website became live, and then in the last 6 months of last year we sold about 24 floats. So we doubled our sales in 6 months. And this year we've doubled again, so we've quadrupled our sales since last July.
Well, did you enjoy their story? I still get a buzz when I hear about it, but look, bottom line is they decided to write a new story. They decided to stop just spinning their wheels, being very busy but not accomplishing much, and getting real traction. And I really enjoyed helping them achieve that. In fact, look, again, get a copy of this book, and when you start reading it, you're going to start to resonate with some of the principles that they've just shared with you. And I might leave you with another friend of mine, a gentleman called John Dwyer, who was in massive, massive financial difficulties actually. And when he started to learn these principles, these inconvenient truths, again, his whole world changed, and in fact, let him tell you his story. But again, put your details in there, get a copy of the book, and I'm sure in some way, shape or form, hopefully we'll meet one day in the future. Bye for now.
Hello, my name is John Dwyer. I'm from Warrnambool. For those of you who don't know, about 300 kilometres west of Melbourne. I've started a painting company called Busy Brush. I was in a real dark place. Several years ago, I was $3 million in debt with a construction business. This is a family business. At that time, I'd actually even become homeless because of the debts and the court cases and etc. that were besetting upon it. From October of last year was the last of the court cases. I've cleared all that back debt. I'm now in a much better place. Melanie, and I didn't know what to do. I basically had to decide, you know, I thought pretty much business was over for me actually. And what Ian did, he made me think about where I'm going ahead, and at the time all I could do, because I was so broke, I could think of was to do this painting. So I grabbed together some painting things and started into it, and then Ian showed me the strategies on how to do the marketing and sales. Now the thing you've got to understand is I thought that that was the end of it. It wasn't the end of it. It just happened again and again and again and again. And last Thursday, $18,000 in my pocket. I got so busy, I quoted a lady to paint a front fence $3,500, and I thought absolutely no way will she take that job, and I'll be criticised, but I thought that's good because I'm so busy with what I'm doing. She rang me and told me, you've got the job. Despite what you may think about a higher price, what Mel and Ian have taught me is that what we believe to be wrong there, I did the best job ever. I delivered on the delivery of it, and she was so proud of it. Now, what we assumed to be an overpriced job, she considered it to be the right price job. I started winning using Ian's marketing and sales strategy. I increased my conversion. For every 3 quotes that I was doing, I'd win 1. So that's still the case right now. And I'm now, as a result, of got my, honestly, where's my wallet? The only reason I haven't got more $100 notes in my wallet now is, there it is. The only reason, you can't fit any more into my wallet. Now, when I started, within a month of launching the website, I'd gone from obscurity to being listed as #1 on the web site for searches for painters in Warrnambool. So those of you who are struggling, and struggling bad, know that if you put your trust in Mel and Ian, the cash appears. The problems end up going. It's $3 million worth of debt no longer existing. And I've got this new cash flow system that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't have come in absolute pain and suffering into Ian's environment. So, and from the bottom of my heart, Mel, I just love you guys. Whatever they tell you to do, implement it. I know it is strange to some people. I had to get used to so many terminologies and that was foreign to me. My thing is, for every dollar I've paid them, $15 I've got back. So I've handed them, for $1, I've got $15 back, and I'm multiplying that even more now, just applying these strategies. It works, and the money will appear into your life. Thanks guys, I love yous.